All right. Morals, principles, and growing up. So this is going to be somewhat self-indulgent, as a lot of videos are, but also include some positive things. And also, I will talk a little bit because I just watched Vosh debate non-compete. But I'll give you those takes at the end. So a lot of that debate came down to like morals and principles, and since Vosh considers himself a utilitarian, um, you have to have some sort of moral framework in politics, and I do believe that's true. Um, I'm trying to be careful here because I think I've been fairly edgy, and I could make the excuse that that's the internet or whatever, but no, I have been edgy in my past. Absolutely, I try to be less edgy than I am now because I think edgy does not age well. It doesn't. Um, and so I try to have more respect for people. I don't care for Vosh because I think that he is full of crap, basically. Um, I'm not going to go on and on about it. I'm not going to belabor that because I really don't focus on him because I just think he's in it for the money, and that's fine. I don't hate the player. I hate the game. That's the whole thing. Let him make his money. Let him make his money, and if he can bilk 14-year-olds out of money, more power to him. I don't agree with it necessarily, but you know what? If that's how he lives and he admits that he's, a city slicking fool, do that then. But I thought about this today. I remember, the guy that I work with, he said some inane comment. It didn't even bother me. Partly because I like him. I like working with him. He's a good guy. But also because I'm like, oh, I don't care. I don't care what those people think. This is the value of getting older, where you're more tired and you just want to do the job and go home. You don't have time to play games. You don't have time to try to make sure everyone likes you. You just let it go. Um, you should have principles and you should have a basic understanding of how to treat people at work. Like I say, basically, you don't say it to their face. You don't go and fly off the handle. You're just like, okay, that's how they feel. You move on. Um, and I realized that it was you have to be able to let things go. And I think realize that grow up and you have to deal with people. You may disagree with them, but guess what? You got to deal with folks. I think overall, I think it's good to sweep some things under the rug. Other things, yeah, you can't let go of. And I think that that kind of goes from person to person. And obviously, some things hit harder than others. This and that. I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this, but I'll get to the point. The point is that you do have to have a moral framework. Um, I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this just as an example of a moral, in my opinion, or a principle. I'll say principle because it's probably better it fits the definition of it. A principle that I agree with is I think doxing is bad. I think doxing is a horrible thing to do, because basically you turn that person, whether it's some Antifa person doxing a left wing person, or hell, I'm going to, to a point, I'm going to be somewhat contradictory and hypocritical, but I think it's bad when they doxed Anti-Fash Gordon. The guy that was found out to be, some student or something like that. I think to a point that was bad as well. Now, of course, people are going to disagree with me and say, bruh, and that's fine. You can do that. But like I said, I think that's a principle that I hold. Morals, I think, is much more of an internal thing. Uh, showing pity for people, I think, is a moral. But I think I'm already drowning in things I really shouldn't be talking about. What I will say though is I think that morals and principles, for the most part, stay the same. And that you have a general idea about things. Staying loyal to somebody is an example of a moral. Like street dudes, street guys, you're loyal to that person because guess what? They taught you the game. So you're loyal to that person for, teaching you how to make money out in the streets. But then homie gets, he gets pinched and he puts you on the back foot and says that you ran the operation. You're going against the street code right there. When you snitch on a homie like that. So you broke part of that code. Morals, principles, codes, very complex. The thing is this, man, is this is one of the biggest problems that happens with folks. Most people don't give a fuck about Marx and Engels. And that's what a lot of that non-compete versus Vosh stuff came down to was like Marx and Engels and idealism. This and that. It's like, look, we're all idealists to a point. We all live in fantasies. It's like for me, I still fantasize about. Fuck it, I'll just tell you, and you can feel it as cringe. But some breakdown in the United States, and I become a gun runner. But then I get involved with insurance and find a legit way so I can make my money. And when things, and when the new borders come about, I'm still a millionaire or something like that, living in a house out in the country or something like that. That's my fantasy. And maybe I do like maintenance work on the side to lay low after, I do a job or something like that. But like I say, that's what keeps me going to a point. Idealism keeps people going. I know people are gonna be like, I know, but that's how I feel. Is that having a fantasy keeps you going, so that you don't have to focus on the bullshit right now. Because looking at every day, I never really had this problem before, but I'll say it now: is that I felt overwhelmed. I felt like an anxiety. Especially when I go outside and I look at and I really think about all the things that are wrong with the house. And it gives me anxiety thinking about all the stuff that's broken. You know, I don't really feel that way at work because ultimately, being a maintenance guy, there are other folks who can step in if need be. But at home, you kind of feel like a failure, like, damn, you know? My point is this: I'm going real schizo, so I apologize. But I think that, you have to you have to look in your heart and say, what do you truly believe? Are you going to, be a virtue signal and do things so, you can look good in people's eyes, or you do it because you feel it's the right thing to do? Like you help somebody. Like say it's an old woman that's having trouble. Are you going to help that woman? And are you doing it for yourself or for herself? Like I say, these are much more simple, moralistic questions you ask yourself. You know, I don't know where I'm going with this. So, I think I'm gonna end it here. But I'll just say this: I'm gonna, like I said, I think the last person I've talked about, because I still think he's full of crap, is Bo the Fifth Column. I will talk less about him, and I will talk even less about Vosh, because I think that these are people who, while they do have big platforms, I think that they will be hoisted by their own petard, and really, they're not going to be that influential in the scheme of things. So, that's not to say I'm going to be some successful person. Hell no. But I'm going to try to live in the real world as best I can. Anyway, with that, everybody, hope y'all enjoyed this video. See you later. Goodbye.